Welcome, and thank you for checking out my series of videos on how to solve the Rubik's Cube. We're going to jump right in on getting to know the cube and the pieces it consists of. The cube has a total of 26 pieces and 3 different types of pieces. The corners have 3 colors and there are 8 corner pieces. The edges have 2 colors and there are 12 edge pieces. There are 6 centers which identify what color each side of the cube is. When assembled, the corners and edges revolve around the center pieces, therefore the centers never change position. On any given standard Rubik's Cube, the colors will always be arranged in the same way. Red will always be opposite to orange, blue opposite to green, and the yellow side will always be opposite to the white side. The method of fixing the cube is by solving each layer of the cube from bottom to top. I will be putting these pieces back together in the same order I would as if I were solving the Rubik's Cube. Step 1 begins by placing the 4 edges of any color in the correct position, making a cross shape on the bottom layer, followed by 4 corners to complete the first layer. For the rest of the solve, I will keep the color I start with on the bottom of the cube. The next step is correctly placing 4 edges in the layer just above the first layer. And just like that, the first 2 layers are complete and we're nearly finished solving the whole cube. Solving the last layer begins like the first layer by making a cross shape with the top color and placing the 4 edges in the correct position. The final step is to place the corners in the correct position and orientation, and there you have it, the cube is solved. The last thing we need to go over is what each move on the cube is called. I'll go over the name of every move you'll be using to solve the cube. The side facing you will be known as the front, and rotating this side is known as F. This is right, this is up, down, left, and this is the back. Color does not matter when identifying each side, so if I hold the cube like this is now the front, right, left, up, down, and that's the back. A clockwise rotation of any side of the cube is identified by the abbreviation of the name of the face being rotated. For example, this is F. Turning any face counterclockwise is an inverted move and will be identified with an I after the abbreviation of the name of the side being turned. Always remember, turning the back side will be opposite of the way you turn the front side, because if you were to face the back, a clockwise turn would appear to be counterclockwise when facing the front. So don't forget to correctly identify what is clockwise and what is counterclockwise according to the side being turned. I will now go over each and every move called by its proper name. And for this example, we'll use the green side as our front. F, Fi, B, Bi, U, Ui, R, Ri, L, Li, and D, Di. Sometimes a double move is required, and rather than call it F, these 180-degree rotations are identified by the proper name followed by the number 2. For example, R2 and U2. Once again, this is U2 and this is R2. On the left side, it would be L2. And that's it. That's all the names of the moves you'll be using to solve the Rubik's Cube. Practice each and every move, and now that you know the names of the moves, you can begin learning how to solve the Rubik's Cube. Begin solving the Rubik's Cube by choosing a color. This color will be the first layer you solve. In this video, I will be starting with the color white, and the starting color remains on the bottom of the cube for the rest of the solve. Keep in mind, I may move the cube around to look for pieces or show you what's going on the bottom, but the starting color will always be on the bottom of the cube and serve as the base layer. Next, find the 4 edge pieces of your starting color and position them on the top layer with the starting color facing up. There's no correct way to go about doing this, but practice getting the edges on the top layer in the least amount of moves possible. In this example, my starting color is white, so I place the 4 white edges on the top layer with the white colors pointing up. Once all 4 edges are on the top layer, align an edge with the color on the side and perform a double move to position it on the bottom layer in the correct spot. Repeat this step 3 more times to complete the first cross. If another method to making a cross on the first layer makes more sense to you, do whatever is easiest for your own personal preference. The last part to solving the first layer is putting the corners in place. There are 3 cases in which the corners may be positioned around the cube. the corner piece will be on the top layer with the starting color on the side, the corner piece will be on the top layer with the starting color facing up, or the corner piece will be on the bottom layer in the wrong spot or in the right spot but the wrong orientation. We will go over what to do for each case. This begins by searching the top layer for a corner with your starting color. When you have found a corner piece you want to place in the bottom layer, position the corner piece on the front face in the top right corner directly over the spot it belongs on the bottom layer. I found this corner piece and positioned it over the corner it belongs in based on the colors of the corner piece. Because the white color is on the side of the corner piece, all I have to do is either use RI or F to match the white side of the corner with the white side of the edge on the bottom layer. If I had used F to match the corner on the bottom, then my next move would be RI, and vice versa. In this example, I used RI, so my next move is F. Then to reset anything I misplaced, I do the inverse of the last two moves I did. Here are examples of both possibilities when it comes to a corner on the top layer with the starting color on the side. Now what if the corner piece is on the bottom layer in the wrong corner, or like in this example, it's in the right corner but the wrong orientation? Either way, what you do is remove it from the bottom layer by moving any random corner piece into its place. Here I used RIFRFI to do so. And now that the corner is on the top layer, you can place it correctly as normal. This corner piece represents the final case you may run into, and that is when a corner piece is on the top layer and the starting color is facing up. In this case, you won't be able to match the starting color to the bottom side using an RI or F move. So to fix this, do RU2 RI UI, and that will set you up to place it correctly as normal. And there you have it. That is everything you need to know to solve the first layer. Welcome back. We're going to learn 3 more really easy moves that you'll be able to use to fix the edges in the middle layer. Parts of these new moves are the exact same moves we did in the last video to fix the corners on the bottom layer, so this should be really easy to catch on to and you'll have the middle layer solved in no time. Let's jump right in. First, find an edge piece on the top layer that does not have the top color on it. In this example, our top color is yellow, and we're going to ignore any edge piece that has the color yellow on it. We know this edge belongs in the middle layer because it is the orange and blue edge, and orange and blue are 2 of the 4 colors on the sides. So great! This is the exact kind of edge piece we are looking for. Next, we want to match the side color of the edge with the center of the same color on the side of the cube. So rotate the top layer until we make this match, and we'll make that our front face. Now use the other color on the edge to figure out if the edge piece is going to the right side or the left side. In this example, the other color on the edge is blue, and the blue side is to the right of the orange, so the edge piece is going to the right. We want to match the corner and the edge piece together on the top layer, so how we do this is by moving the edge to the side with U, and bringing the corner up from the bottom layer to the top layer with R. Then bring the edge back with UI. This will set you up so you can use RI to match the corner and the edge pair together, and that will at the same time reset the bottom layer. Now you can place the pair in the correct spot in the same way you learned how to place corners in the last video. Here, I'll use F, RI, FI, R. And just like that, the edge and the corner are together in the correct spot. Now repeat the same process of finding a middle layer edge on the top layer and positioning it so you can bring up its matching corner from the bottom, making a pair on the top layer, and placing the pair together correctly 3 more times, and the middle layer will be finished. Here are examples of the 2 possibilities when matching corners and edges, depending on if they go into the right side or the left side. If the edge needs to go into the right side, the first move is U. Then bring up the corner with R, match them with UI, RI, and finish with F, RI, FI, R. If the edge needs to go into the left side, all you need to do is mirror exactly what you did on the right side, which would look like UI, LI, U, L, and finish with FI, L, F, LI. Lastly, you may find that the middle layer is not finished, and yet the only edges on the top layer have the top color on it. This is just like the case with the corners in the first layer. So place any random edge piece in an incorrect spot in the middle layer, and that will bump out the edge so you can set it in the right position on the top layer and proceed with the appropriate move to place it in the correct spot. And just like that, the first two layers of the cube are solved, and we're nearly finished with the whole Rubik's Cube. I am so proud of you. Solving the last layer is similar to how you solved the first layer, because it begins with fixing the edges first and then the corners. In this video, we're just going to focus on the edges and ignore the corners for now. After solving the first two layers, the next step is making a cross on the top layer. The top layer edges will be in one of four possible cases: no edges facing up, two edges facing up in the shape of an L, or two edges facing up in a straight line. The fourth possible case would be all the edges facing up, which would be great because then we wouldn't have to do any move to make the cross on top. The algorithm to make the cross on the top layer is F, R, U, RI, UI, FI. This will cycle through the possible cases until you get a cross on top. We'll start with the case furthest from the cross being solved. If no edges are facing up, using the algorithm will bring up two edges making an L shape. Rotate the top layer until the edges facing up make a backwards L shape. Then use the algorithm again and the edges will be in a straight horizontal line. Make sure the edges are in a horizontal line and not a vertical line, performing the algorithm one more time, and the edges on the top layer should form a cross on top. Once you have a cross on the top layer, there's just one more algorithm to use to line them up with the colors on the sides. With the cross on top, rotate the top layer until you have at least two colors matching on the sides. The algorithm is going to switch these two edge pieces, so if the two colors you matched are next to each other, hold the cube so that the matched colors are on the left and the back, in the backwards L position, and then use the algorithm U, R, U, RI, U, R, U2, RI. The top cross should be completed matching all the colors on the sides now. If you can only match two colors across from each other, turn the top layer once with either U or UI, and you should find the edges of the cross will be set up to use the algorithm to switch them. And then you will have to do the same for the other two edges of the cross. Solving the corners on the last layer will be done in two steps: putting the corners in the right location and then turning them face up. After solving the edges on the last layer, look for a corner that's in the right spot regardless of if the colors match up. You will either have no corners in the right spot, one corner in the right spot, or all the corners in the right spot, in which case you can skip to the next step. If no corners in the right spot, perform the algorithm with any corner, but if you find a corner in the right spot, then hold the cube so that the corner in the right spot is in the upper right front corner. The algorithm is going to switch around the corner pieces in the back and left corners and leave the corner pieces in the front right corner in the same spot. In this example, the yellow, red, green corner piece is in the yellow, orange, blue corner of the cube. so this is not in the right spot. But the yellow, green, orange corner piece is in the yellow, green, orange corner of the cube, so this one is in the correct spot, and we don't want it to switch spots, so we'll keep it in the upper right front corner for the algorithm. The algorithm is U, R, UI, LI, U, RI, UI, L. Look around the cube at the other corners on the top layer, and if they are now in the correct spots, you can move to the next step. If they're not, you'll have to do the algorithm one more time. Once all the corner pieces are in the corners they belong, there's just one more algorithm to fix any corners that are not matching the colors around them. The algorithm is just 4 moves that you'll repeat until the corner piece is facing up and the colors match. With the corner piece you want to rotate in the upper right front corner, use RI, DI, RD twice, and check the upper right front corner to see if the piece is correctly matching the colors. If it's not matching, then do the algorithm 2 more times and the corner will be solved. Once it's solved, you can turn the top layer to position another corner piece in the upper right front corner, but do not disturb the bottom 2 layers. Otherwise, the first 2 layers will be messed up and you'll have to start over from the very beginning. Repeat the corner twisting process as needed until all the corners are solved. And that's it. That's everything you need to know to solve the Rubik's Cube. I hope these videos have helped you and you are able to easily solve the Rubik's Cube. Remember, you can always go back to any of the videos and pause and rewind and refresh on anything you need to know. If you don't want to go back through the videos and find one piece of information you were looking for, here's the script to all the videos up to this point. Otherwise, thank you for following along and congratulations on learning the Rubik's Cube. In this video, I just want to go through a few example solves so that you can see everything we learned from the previous videos all in one from start to finish. For this mix-up, I'm going to have white as the top, red as my front, and blue on the right. If you want to follow along, this is the mix-up I'm about to use. All right, I'm going to use white as my starting color, and right now I'm just finding the 4 edges. There's one already in place on the bottom, but it's not correct yet. So the first step would be putting that over there. We have the orange one right here. All right, and the red is already done, so I'll just have to put it down there. So let's see, start by putting the green over there, and I'll get the red down, match the blue. Before I bring the blue all the way down, I'll put the orange right here so that in that same move it lines up and the cross is done. Look at the top for a corner. There's one right here. Just needs to go right here, like that. Here's another, the red and green and white. There's another. And the last one right there. First layer is done. Look at the top, I don't need any yellow. Here's one, green, just like that. Don't need that one, that one. Here's one that we need. Goes right here, orange. No. Here's one, blue's on that side. There we go. Make the cross on top. see that these two need to switch and the blue and red need to switch. So this one's in the right spot. The others aren't, so I'm gonna keep this one. That one's correct, that one's correct. Now they're all in the right spot. That one only took 2. Again, 2. This one should take 4. And this one's probably gonna take 4 as well. And done.